Good afternoon. The Preventive conference is hereby called to order. Before we begin, may I call on Ms. Marlene for the prayer. May I request everyone to please stand. Let us put ourselves in the presence of God, in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, we gather today with grateful hearts as we begin this Preventive conference. Thank you for the opportunity to come together in the spirit of cooperation and shared purpose. We ask for your guidance as we discuss the plans, requirements, and processes before us. Grant us wisdom and understanding so that all information may be communicated clearly and received with openness. Help us to act with honesty, fairness, and respect toward one another. May this gathering promote transparency, mutual trust, and a commitment to what is right. Guide all participants, organizers, and leaders so that this process may lead to outcomes that are just, efficient, and beneficial to the community we serve. We entrust this activity to you, Lord, knowing that with your guidance, all things will be done in accordance with truth and integrity. All this we pray in your holy name. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Once again, good afternoon to the members of the Gifts and Awards Committee, the Technical Working Group and the Secretariat, our presenters, the Procurement Unit headed by Engineer Raymond Tatipan, to our interested leaders, and to everyone who is watching via YouTube channel of the DPWH Regional Office 9 Procurement Livestream. Welcome to the Preventive Conference of Various Infra being implemented by DPWH Regional Office 9. For the record, today is June 25, 2026. And to confirm quorum, may I call on Engineer Demi for the attendance.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of the following for our previous conference of various infra projects and goods and services. For government side, present are the regional block members, headed by our block chairperson, Attorney Beverly P. Monte. Our block regular members, we have Engineer Hadija S. Sarajan and Engineer Danilo Moderion. We also have our block provisional members for maintenance project, Engineer Jacqueline L. Carranza. We would also like to acknowledge our presenters from Planning and Design Division. We have Architect Victor A. Baclagan, Engineer Irian M. Balornon, Engineer James Clinton Delfino, and Engineer Saikuden Makalalaya. Invitation was also sent to the Resident Auditor of Commission and Audit, to Mr. Frederick R. Chong, National Director of National Constructors Associations of the Philippines Incorporated, to Ms. Maria Ana G. Tumol, Executive Director of Philippine Green Building Council, to Mr. Cristal C. Hasiman, President of the Bongao Contractors Association, and to Transparency International Philippines Incorporated, however non-attended. We would also like to acknowledge the members of the Procurement Unit headed by Engineer Raymond Tatipan. For our contractor side, we have Mr. Carl Ivan Cotillas from Vendor Construction, and Ms. Maylene Lanaro from Paris Computers. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Demi. With the majority members of the block present today, quorum is mentioned here. We will now proceed with our procurement activities. For our agenda, we have the brief presentation of the basic contract data, requirements of given documents, contracts to be submitted by the bidders, criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post qualification and award. We also have questions and comments from bidders and replies of the back and other representatives of the procuring end. Other matters, and lastly, summary of proceedings, including supplemental or bid bulletins to be issued. We will now proceed to the first agenda,
which is the brief presentation of the basic undertaken. To our presenters, kindly take the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Assalamualaikum. I am Maharlika from Planning Design Division. For the first project, with the contract ID 26J0002, with the contract name Preventive Maintenance, Primary Roads, Maharlika Highway, Pagadian City, Zamboanga City Road, the section ID is 01315 the station 1866/0002, station P1867 +469 and P1904 +657 to P1905 +543 and K1906 +044 to K1907 +1000 and K1909 +1042 to K1910 +602 and K1923 +699 to K1924 +000 and K1827 +000 to K1828 +000. Location of project, Zamboanga City Second Road. Implementing Office, the DPWH, Regional Office 9, Construction Division. Funding source, General Appropriation Act, Fiscal Year 2026. The approved budget for the contract, 154,400,000 pesos. Scope of work, roads, construction asphalt, 6.247 kilometers. Contract duration, 82 calendar days. For major and similar category of works, RCA, or roads, construction, asphalt. Similar category of works, RRA, or roads, rehabilitation, asphalt. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following: 1 low-bed trailer, 1 dump truck, 1 cargo truck, 1 water truck, pump, 1 asphalt distributor, 4 transit mixer, 1 backhoe with built-in scraper, 1 payloader, 1 motorized road grader, 1 laboratory loader, 1 asphalt paver, 1 pneumatic tire roller, 1 tandem steel roller, 2 concrete vibrator, 1 concrete batching plant, 1 concrete spreader, 1 concrete saw, 1 bar cutter, and 1 mechanized joint machine. For the minimum experience requirements for personnel are the following: 1 project manager with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. 1 project engineer 2 with a 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. 1 accredited materials engineer 2 general experience material accredited materials engineer 2 and relevant experience of accredited materials engineer 2. And 1 safety and health officer with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. 1 foreman with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. Please include the DIN number of all employees personnel.
For the project 26J0007, Preventive Maintenance, Primary Roads, Maharlika Highway, Pagadian City, Zamboanga City Road, SO1453, and then Station 1678091 to 1680 1680 to 168945. Location, Zamboanga del Sur, Second Region. Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Construction Division. Funding source, General Appropriation Act for year 2026. Approved budget for the contract, 85.164 million. Scope of works, roads, construction asphalt, 4.520 km. Construct duration, 136 calendar days. Major similar category of works, Major category of work, RCA roads, construction asphalt. Similar category of works, RRA roads, rehabilitation asphalt. The minimum major equipment requirements are the following. Shown. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following. So please include the team number of all pledged personnel.
May I request that the equipment requirement be flashed again?
We noted all for the inclusion of for the asphalt batching plant, accredited asphalt batching plant for the asphalt project.
Yung attachment dun, asphalt.
If my project po reblocking, meron po siya concrete batching plant. Yung asphalt, para preventive maintenance sa project.
For clarification on the asphalt batching plan, may I request Ma'am Jean to kindly inform the body as to the required batching plan for this specific project and so on.
So for project na may preventive maintenance, it should be concrete batching plant, accredited concrete batching plant. So asphalt, concrete, accredited asphalt batching plant. So if walang batching plant si makakuha ng project, dapat may certification na kukuha sila ng mix doon sa accredited batching plant.
Noted po.
Contractor. Okay. Pwede ganun? Kasi
Sa side na yung mga kailan construction, may asphalt certification po. Kailan po sa
benta po.
kasi nakalagay dito po sa ano, po, non-asphalt. If sa attachment na, yung attachment na non-asphalt.
Kaya yun ang sinasabi ko sa planning, ma'am. Dapat titingnan nila yung project. Kasi ang major item dito is asphalt overlay. So dapat, kahit sa lupa daw kasi sinusunod nila ganito.
Tama po ma'am sa lupa po. Pero noted po, we will make revision po sa future planning. We will include po talaga for preventive maintenance projects po.
The back respectfully request our programmer with respect to the equipment, minimum major equipment requirements that the concrete batching plant be replaced with the accredited batching plant. We'd like also to request that necessary notation as to the requirements of for the certification be duly notified and be given a note highlighting the accreditation required for these projects. Ang sorry sa mga preventive maintenance projects na this is specific project.
Specific project for preventive maintenance, which is the major item is asphalt.
We will make necessary correction for our daily documents.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll continue po. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following. One project manager with general and relevant experience. 5 years and 3 years. One project engineer with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. One accredited material engineer. Accredited material engineer 1 general experience. Accredited materials engineer 1 relevant experience. One safety and health officer with 5 years general experience and 3 years general experience, relevant experience. One foreman, 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. Please include the team number of all the pledged personnel.
Good afternoon, I am John Victor Maclagan from Planning and Design Division. For the project 26JO0018, construction of multipurpose building covered court, Mindanao State University, Barangay Tubig, Mampallam, Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, location Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, implementing office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Construction Division, funding source, General Appropriations Act, Fiscal Year 2026, approved budget for the contract, 4,871,431.67 pesos. Scope of works, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise steel frame, 1 to 5 stories, contract duration, 150 calendar days. For the major similar category of works, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise steel frame, 1 to 5 stories. BICWH SCP building, construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, cast in place piles, 6 and above stories. BICWH SCP-16 building, construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, cast in place piles, 16 and above stories. Buildings construction with piles, low-rise steel frame, cast in place piles, 1 to 5 stories. Building construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, driven piles, 6 and above stories. Building construction with piles, high-rise steel frame, driven piles, 16 and above stories. Building construction with piles, low-rise steel frame, driven piles, 1 to 5 stories. Building construction without piles, high-rise steel frame, 6 and above stories. Building construction without piles, high-rise steel frame, 6 and above stories. BICWBMSPP, building construction with piles, medium-rise steel frame, driven piles, 6 to 15 stories. BICWBMSCP buildings, construction with piles, medium-rise steel frame, cast in place piles, 6 to 15 stories. BICWOPMS building, construction with piles, medium-rise steel frame, 6 to 15 stories. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following: 1 backhoe, 1 dump truck, 1 plate compactor, 1 bar bender, 1 bar cutter, 1 welding machine, 1 cutting outfit, 1 truck mounted crane, 1 bagger mixer. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following: 1 project manager with 5 years general experience and 5 years relevant experience. 1 DPWH accredited project engineer with 5 years general experience and 5 years relevant experience. DPWH accredited materials engineer and 1 DPWH accredited materials engineer with 5 years general experience and 5 years relevant experience. 1 safety and health officer with 3 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. 1 foreman with 5 years general experience and 5 years relevant experience. Please include the team number of all the pledged personnel.
For the project 26JO0068, The contract name, rehabilitation, reconstruction, upgrading of damaged paved roads, primary roads, Maharlika Highway, Lanao Pagadian, Zamboanga City Road. The station limit 1807 plus 614 to 1808 plus 000 and 1809 plus 313 to 1809 plus 500 and K1810 plus 000 to K1810 plus 460 and K1811 plus 000 to K1811 Location project, Zamboanga Sibugay, Sicandio. Implementing office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Construction Division. Funding source, General Appropriations Act, fiscal year 2026. Approved budget for the contract, 26,299,795 pesos. Scope of works, road rehabilitation, PCCP 1.64 kilometers. Contract duration 186 calendar days. For major similar category works, major category works RRT or roads rehabilitation PCCP. Similar category works RCP or roads construction PCCP. RCPP or roads construction tunnel PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. One applicator machine, one backhoe with pavement breaker, one bar cutter, one bulldozer, one carbon truck, one cold milling machine, one concrete batching plant, one concrete saw, one concrete spreader, two concrete vibrator, two dump truck, one milling machine, one low bed trailer, one mechanized job machine, one motorized road trailer, two payloader, four transit mixer, one vibratory roller, one with a truck pump. So the minimum work experience requirements for the key personnel are the following. One project manager with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. One project engineer, one project engineer one with 5 years general experience and 3 years with relevant experience. One accredited materials engineer one, general experience, accredited materials engineer one, relevant experience, accredited materials engineer one. Safety and health officer, one safety and health officer with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. One foreman with 5 years general experience and 3 years relevant experience. Please include a TIN number for the placed personnel.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adrian Balan from Planning and Design Division. For the contract ID 26J00134, contract name, CPAG Access Roads and/or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings facilities. Rehabilitation of Comp and West Roman Deer National Road, Patibulan, Panamao section, Sulu change 13,000, change 15,900. Location is South Ubian, Tawi-Tawi. Implementing office is the DPWH Regional Office 9 Construction Division. Funding source, General Appropriation Act or GAA, fiscal year 2026. Approved budget for the contract is 94,570,000. Scope of works, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, 2.91 kilometer. Education is South Together tayo.
Madam Chair, we will do the necessary correction for the allocation should be Sulu Second District Office.
Okay, to continue, the scope of works is the road rehabilitation PCCP 2.91 kilometers with a contract duration of 303 calendar days. Major or similar category of works. The major category of works are RRP, Roads Rehabilitation, PCCP. Similar category of works, RCP, Roads Construction, PCCP, RCTP, Roads Construction Tunnel, PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following: one backhoe with pavement breaker, one bar cutter, one bulldozer BX 175, one cargo truck 9 to 10 megatons, one concrete batching plant, one concrete saw, two concrete vibrator, two dump truck, one low bed trailer, one mechanized joint zinner machine, one motorized road grader, two payloader, one pneumatic tire roller, one power broom, one tandem steel roller, four transit mixer, one vibratory roller, one water truck or pump, one applicator machine, and one kneading machine. For the minimum work experience or for requirements for key personnel of the following: key personnel. One project manager with a general experience of 5 years and a relevant experience of 3 years. One project engineer with general experience of 5 years and relevant experience of 3 years. One accredited material engineer 1 with a general experience of accredited materials engineer 1 and a relevant experience of accredited materials engineer 1. One safety and health officer with a general experience of 5 years and a relevant experience of 3 years. One foreman with a general experience of 5 years and relevant experience of 3 years. Please include the key number of all the pledged personnel.
Bid security, bid validity period, bid security validity, bid validity period 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. Bid security validity period 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. The bidder shall submit a bid security declaration of any form of bid security enumerated below. Cash, cashier's check and manager's check 2%, bank draft guaranteed, irrevocable letter of credit and surety bond 5%.
For the eligibility of requirements, Class A documents, legal documents, registration certificate from SECBDI for slow proprietorship or CDA for cooperatives, mayor's permit issued by city or municipal where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, tax clearance certificate as finally reviewed and approved by the BIR. Technical documents are the PCAB or special PCAB license in case of JUP, records of all its ongoing government private contracts including awarded but not yet started, records of single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid, adjusted to current price which including Statistics Authority or PSA, current price index with a contract amount equivalent to at least 50% of the NBC. A contract shall be considered similar to the contract with bid if it has the following categories, as shown in the previous slides of the contract data. Financial documents, audited financial statements stamped received by the BIR of these duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Computation of NFCC of at least equal to ABC. For the Class B documents for joint venture, we have the valid venture agreement of GPA. All of these documents will be electronically evaluated using the civil works application. For the submission and receipt of bids. Contents of the first envelope or technical proposal, we have the PhilGAP's certificate of registration or platinum membership in accordance with section 20 of the IRR, pickup license registration in case of joint venture or JV, statement of all its ongoing government private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature complexity to the contract to be bid. The statement of the bidders SLCC in accordance with the ITB clause 5.5. The SLCC shall be supported by the owner's certificate of the final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES or a similar performance and monitoring system. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. For the NFCC computation in accordance with ITB clause 5.6 and joint venture agreement or GVA if applicable. G is the bid security in the prescribed corner amount in accordance with the ITB clause 16 and validity period under ITB clause 15. H is the project requirements which shall be included the following. Organizational chart of the personnel to be deployed for the procurement project to be bid, list of contractors, personnel, project manager, project engineers, material engineers, and foreman to be assigned to the procurement project to be bid, with their complete qualification and experience data. These personnel must meet the requirement years of experience set by the BDS. List of contractor major equipment units which are owned, leased, or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of the equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project, as the case may be, which must meet the minimum requirements of the contract set in the BDS, and omnibus sworn statement in accordance with section 54.3 of the IRR, latest general information sheet reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Security and Exchange Commission for Preparation and Contractor Performance Evaluation System rating as per DO's 171 series of 2025 or an owner certificate of final acceptance or equivalent for private sector contracts, ISO 9001-2015 certification or its latest version as applicable in accordance with DPWH Department Order 110 series of 2024. This requirement applies to the contractors with a pickup graph size range of medium 8 and above. The contents of the second envelope financial proposal are the duly signed bid form, duly signed bid prices and bill of quantities, duly initial detailed estimates including summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental. And for the bid evaluation, we have the financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including directional corrections for computational errors and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The block of the AEC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceed the ABC. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. Completeness, no price in required item, non-responsive, indicating a 0 or a dash free to the government. All prices are deemed to include all taxes, bids not addressing or providing all the required items and the bidding documents including where applicable BOQs shall be considered non-responsive. Identical error corrections, bid prices in figures versus words per bid, total price per item versus unit price per item, unit price prevails, total price versus actual sum of component items, actual sum prevails, unit cost and detailed estimate versus unit cost and BOQ prevails. If above ABC, disqualified.
or the post qualification, verification, validation, and ascertainment of all statements made and documents submitted, legal requirements, licenses, certificates, permits, agreements, and inclusion in any blacklist, technical requirements, key personnel, availability and commitment of major construction equipment, performance in ongoing government and private contracts, authenticity and correctness of bid security. The following qualifiers shall be applied to this contract with experience of at least 400 meters horizontal length of steel sheet piling works. Note, the above qualifiers must be supported with certificate of acceptance and bill of quantities. Financial requirements, bid price proposal, and NFCC. List of key personnel as shown in the previous slide. List of equipment units may be owned, leased, and/or under purchase agreements, supported by certification of availability of equipment from the equipment leaser vendor for the duration of the project, as shown in the previous slides. Contract award. A contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid, LCRB, as a result of the detailed evaluation and cost qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. Notes on subcontracting. Subcontracting is not allowed. Common errors in the submission of bids. Incomplete pages of bid, technical and financial. Authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. Single operator. Signatory should be the owner / operator, only corporation or cooperative. Board secretary certificate and board resolution. Joint venture resolution or agreement. Partnership as indicated in the articles of partnership. Sealing and marking of bids. Bidders shall enclose their technical document described in the ITB Clause 12 in one sealed envelope marked technical component and the financial component in another sealed envelope marked financial component, sealing them all in an outer envelope marked bid. The bid shall be typed or written in ink and shall be signed by the bidder or its duly authorized representatives. All envelopes shall contain the name of the contract to be bid in capital letters, bear the name and address of the bidder in capital letters, be addressed to the procuring entities but in accordance with ITB Clause 18.1, bear the specific identification of this bidding process indicated in the ITB Clause 1.1, and bear a warning, do not open before the date and time for the opening bid in accordance with the ITB Clause 19. For manually submitted bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked as required in the bidding documents, the same shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. On the other hand, unsealed and unmarked bid envelopes or bids that cannot be opened or corrupted in case of online submission shall be rejected. The bank shall assume no responsibility for misplaced or lost contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid or for its premature opening. The bidder shall submit one original copy and two copies for the first technical and second financial components of its bid. Sample as shown. For the technical component as shown. For the financial component as shown. Technical component as shown. And financial component as shown. Shown. Schedules. Deadline for submission of clarification, June 28, 2026, address to Attorney Beverly B. Monte Anco, Chief Rowan Bank Chairperson, and to Maharlika D. Tawi-Tawi, OIC Head of Secretariat. Deadline for submission of this July 8, 2026 at 10 a.m. Number of copies of bid proposal, one original copy and two copies for the first technical and second financial envelope of its bid. Place of submission of bid. Procurement Unit, DPWH Region 9, Veterans Administration, that was Zamboanga City, or electronic bids R9 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic bid submission. Livestream on YouTube, www.youtube.com/@dpwhro.09.
For the project 25 CSJ 008, subsurface exploration through calyx drilling and laboratory works of construction of 5 slope protection project in Zamboanga del Sur Region 9. Location, Zamboanga del Sur Region 9, Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, General Appropriation Act, GAA, Fiscal Year 2025. Approved budget for the contract, 3,367,105.44 pesos. Scope of works, calyx drillings and laboratory works. Contract duration, 66 calendar days. For the minimum experience requirements for key personnel are the following.
For the position of geotechnical engineer, we have the job description of responsible for soil investigation, slope stability analysis, foundation analysis, geotechnical interpretation and recommendations. Required qualification is registered or licensed civil engineering or equivalent with specialization in geotechnical and soil investigation. He or she must have extensive experience with geotechnical engineering, soil mechanics and foundation engineering or other related fields. Number of months, 60. Material engineering, responsible for soil and rock sample evaluation, laboratory and field testing, material investigation and preparation or review of calyx drilling reports. Registered or licensed civil engineering or equivalent with specialization in quality control of soil sampling and laboratory testing. He or she must have extensive experience with soil investigation, geotechnical field, laboratory testing, and other related fields. Number of months, 60. Next is the materials, laboratory technician, responsible for handling, logging, preserving, and testing of soil rock samples obtained from calyx drilling operations. Qualification is graduate of civil engineering technology, laboratory technology or equivalent with specialization in laboratory and field testing procedures. He or she must have extensive experience with soil laboratory testing or geotechnical investigation support or other related fields. Number of months, 60. Materials laboratory aid, responsible for assisting in drilling activities, sample retrieval, sample preparation, field documentations, and laboratory support works. Must be at least senior high school graduate or graduate of a technical or vocational course related to laboratory works and engineering support services under supervision with a key personnel. He or she must have extensive experience with soil investigation, geotechnical field, laboratory testing, or other related fields. Number of months is 60. Next is the secretary or encoder, responsible for data encoding, preparation of borehole logs, tabulation of laboratory results, and report communication using MS Office applications. Now, with a qualification of at least senior high school graduate related to data encoding, clerical work, or other related tasks under supervision with the key personnel. He or she must be literate and proficient in Microsoft Office application. Number of months is 12. Next is the contract ID 25CSJ009 with a contract name Subsurface Exploration through calyx drilling and laboratory works for construction of 3 slope protection projects in Zamboanga City in Zamboanga del Norte Region 9. Location is Zamboanga City and Zamboanga del Norte Region 9. Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source is General Appropriation Act Fiscal Year 2025. Approved budget for the contract is 1,877,883 pesos and 27 centavos. Scope of works is current drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration 30 calendar days. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the project 25 CSJ010, subsurface exploration through valley drilling and laboratory works for construction of one slope protection project in Zamboanga, Sibugay, Region 9. Location, Zamboanga, Sibugay, Region 9. Implementing Office, DPWH Region 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, GAA FY 2025. Approved budget for the contract, 798,161.09. Scope of works, college training and laboratory works. Contract duration 12 calendar days. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the project 25 CSJ0011, subsurface exploration through college drilling and laboratory works for construction of 4 building and 1 bridge project in Sulu, 2nd District Engineering Office. Location, Sulu, 2nd District Engineering Office. Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, General Appropriation Act, Fiscal Year 2025. Approved budget for the contract, 2,235,000 pesos. Scope of works, college drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration, 48 calendar days. For the minimum work experience, key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the contract ID of 25 CSJ012, contract name subsurface exploration through college drilling and laboratory works for construction of 6 building projects in Sulu 1st District Engineering Office. Location, Sulu 1st District Engineering Office. Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, GAA Fiscal Year 2025. Approved budget for the contract, 2,270,000 pesos. Scope of works, college drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration, 48 calendar days. And for the minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the project 25 CSJ013, subsurface exploration through college drilling and laboratory works for construction of 1 building and 1 bridge project in Region 9. Location, Region 9. Implementing Office, DPWH Region 9 Office, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, GAA FY 2085. Approved budget for the contract, 1.76 million. Scope of works, college drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration, 36 calendar days. The minimum work experience requirements for key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the project 25 CSJ014, subsurface exploration through college drilling and laboratory works for construction of 2 bridge projects in Zamboanga, Sibugay, 2nd District Engineering Office. Location, Zamboanga, Sibugay, 2nd District Engineering Office. Implementing Office, DPWH Regional Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, General Appropriations Act, GAA, Fiscal Year 2025. Approved budget for the contract, 1,480,000 pesos. Scope of works, college drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration, 30 calendar days. For the minimum work experience requirements for the key personnel are the following, as shown.
For the contract ID of 25 CSJ015, contract name subsurface exploration through college drilling and laboratory works for construction of 1 bridge project in Zamboanga Norte, 2nd District Engineering Office. location sa mga Sibugay 2nd District Engineering Office. Implementing Office is the DPWH Mindanao Office 9, Planning and Design Division. Funding source, the fiscal year 2025. Approved budget for the contract is 1,360,000 pesos. Scope of works, calyx drilling and laboratory works. Contract duration, 24 calendar days. For the minimum work experience requirements, for key personnel are the following, as shown.
Submission and receipt of bids. The technical proposal shall contain the following information documents. Technical proposal submission form shall be the cover letter of the technical proposal using the form prescribed in section 7 PDB related forms DPF1. Budget certificate of registration platinum membership in accordance with section 20 of the IRR. Valid registration certificate from the Securities and Exchange Commission in the case of a partnership or corporation, Department of Trade and Industry, in the case of a sole proprietorship or cooperative development authority, in the case of a cooperative or any proof of such registration. Valid mayor's business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located. Valid tax clearance per Executive Order number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Bid security as prescribed in ITB Clause 16 and validity period under ITB Clause 15. Information indicated in the paragraphs below must be provided by the consultant and each partner, if any following the forms described in the technical proposal forms. A brief description of the organization and outline of recent experience of the consultant and each partner, if any, on project of a similar and related nature as required in Form TPF2. Consultant's references for each project. The outline should indicate, among other things, the project, contract amount, and the consultant's involvement. Information should be provided only for those projects for which the consultant was legally contracted by itself or as one of the major participating consultants within an association. Whenever applicable, the experience of individual experts from projects completed independently or when associated with consultants other than the one with whom the individual is currently associated with cannot be claimed as the experience of the current consultant or any one of its partners, but can be claimed by the individual themselves in their cities. Consultants should be prepared to substantiate the claimed experience if so requested by the procuring entity.
Comments, if any, on the TOR, TPF3 comments and suggestions of consultant on the terms and reference and on data services and facilities to improve performance in carrying out the project. Innovativeness shall be appreciated, including workable suggestions that could improve the quality or effectiveness of the project. In this regard, unless the consultant clearly state otherwise, it shall be assumed by the procuring entity that the work required to implement any such improvements is included in the inputs shown on the consultant's staffing schedule. It shall include a list of facilities requested by the consultant to be provided by the procuring entity, if any, in addition to those shown in the data sheet that may include support facilities such as counterpart staff, office space, local transportation, equipment, domestic administrative support, and etc. that would be needed to carry out the project. A concise, complete, and logical description of how the consultant's team shall carry out the services to meet all requirements of the TOR using TPF4, description of the methodology and work plan for the performing the project, an organization chart of the key and support staff indicating their tasks in the project using TPF5, team composition and tasks, the name, age, nationality, background, employment record, and professional experience of each nominated experts, including ongoing projects, with particular reference to the time experience required for the task assigned should be presented in the CV format shown TPF6, format of curriculum day or CV for proposed professional staff. Only one duly notarized CV for each consultant involved in the project will be submitted for each position. The procuring entity requires that each expert confirms that the contents of its CV is correct, and the expert themselves should sign the certification of the CV. In addition, the expert should submit a signed written commitment stating that the expert shall work for the project once awarded a contract. A zero rating shall be given to a nominated expert if the expert is one proposed for a domestic position but is not Filipino citizen. Second is failed to state nationality on the CV, or third, the CV is not signed in accordance with paragraph or B above. A time schedule, TPF7, time schedule for professional personnel indicating clearly the estimated duration in terms of person months shown separately for work in the field and in the home office, and the proposed timing of each input for each nominated expert, including domestic experts, if required using the format shown. The schedule shall also indicate when experts are working in the project office and when they are working at locations away from the project office. A work plan showing a graphical format or bar chart, the timing of major activities and the anticipated coordination, meetings, and deliverables, such as reports required under the TOR using TPF8, activity or work schedule, omnibus sworn statement, and using the form prescribed in Section 7, Philippine Bidding Document, latest General Information Sheet or GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information or BOI, duly received by the Security Exchange Commission or SEC or corporation. Documents comprising the bid financial proposal. The financial proposal requires a completion of 6 forms, particularly FPF1, FPF2, FPF3, FPF4, FPF5, FPF6. The FPF1 or the financial proposal submission form should form the numbering letter of the financial proposal. Form FPF2, the summary of costs. FPF3, breakdown of price per activity. FPF4, breakdown of remuneration per activity. FPF5, reimbursables per activity, and FPF6, miscellaneous expenses relating to the cost of the consulting services under 2 distinct categories, namely remuneration and B, reimbursable expenditures. For these schedules, we have the deadline for submission of clarification, June 27, 2026, to be submitted to Attorney Beverly B. Montiel, the Chief of Law, Base Chairperson, and Nilda D. Tan, JD, OIC Head of PAC Secretariat. Deadline for submission of bids, July 7, 2026 at 10 a.m. Number of copies of bid proposal, 1 original copy and 2 copies of the first technical and second financial result of its bid. Days of submission of bids, Procurement Unit, DPWH Regional Office 9, Residential Extension 1, Zamboanga City, or electronic bids R9 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic bid submission. Live stream on YouTube, www.youtube.com/dpwh.ro.09.
Madam Chair, the Vice Secretary would also like to remind all prospective bidders to please be guided accordingly on the important department orders and memoranda issued by the Department of Public Works and Highways, which shall be considered in the preparation and completion of their bidding documents and in the implementation of infrastructure projects. As per Department Order Number 98, Series of 2016, revised guidelines on the accreditation of the contractors for consultants, materials engineers. This order prescribes the qualifications and procedures for the accreditation of contractors and consultants, materials engineers, Applicants must be licensed civil engineers and pass the required written examination, while those seeking accreditation as material engineer 2 must also pass a practical examination. The order aims to ensure that only competent and qualified materials engineers are assigned to DPWH projects. As per Department Order Number 227, Series of 2024, with the subject suspension of Department Order Number 148, Series of 2024, this order temporarily suspend the implementation of the accreditation and assignment requirement for contractors and consultants project engineers due to the limited availability of accredited engineers. However, the suspension does not apply to building and bridges projects, and accreditation examinations will be continued to be conducted. As per Memorandum dated June 25, 2024, implementation of assigning accredited contractors and consultants project engineers, this memorandum reminds contractors and consultants of the requirements to assign accredited project engineers to DPWH projects. It also provides guidelines on the validity and application period of accreditation examination results to increase the number of accredited engineers available for project implementation. As per Department Order Number 58, Series of 2012, with the subject inclusion of material data on pledged equipment of a bidder in his bids document, this requires bidders to submit complete technical information on all equipment pledged for a project, including specifications, capacities, and locations. The purpose is to facilitate equipment verification during post-qualification and ensure that contractors possess the resources necessary to undertake the project. As per Department Order Number 09, Series of 2012, with the subject technical requirements for civil works projects for public bidding, this order provides guidelines on technical requirements for civil works projects, including the proper classification of project categories, verification of key technical personnel, and inspection of pledged equipment. It seeks to prevent delays and ensure transparency during eligibility checking and post-qualification. As per Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024, with the subject implementation of ISO 9001-2015, certification requirement for large A, medium B, and medium A contractors in the procurement of infrastructure projects of the Department. These orders mandates ISO 9001-2015 certification as requirement for specified categories of contractors participating in DPWH infrastructure projects. The policy aims to promote quality management, efficiency, and adherence to international standards in project implementation. As per Department Order Number 48, Series of 2019, with the subject Guidelines on the use of inertial profiler for inspection and acceptance of pavement and national primary roads, this order establishes the use of the inertial profiler and International Roughness Index in evaluating pavement smoothness on national primary roads. It requires implementing offices to include pavement smoothness requirements in contract documents and ensure that roads quality is objectively measured before project acceptance. As per Department Order Number 253, Series of 2003, accreditation of asphalt and Portland cement concrete batching plants, this order authorizes the Bureau of Research and Standards to accredit asphalt and concrete batching plants supplying materials for DPWH projects. It aims to improve the quality of construction materials used in public infrastructure by requiring supplier to comply with accreditation standards. And lastly, for Department Order Number 127, Series of 2018, with the subject strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with DPWH. This order strengthens the post-qualification process by requiring back to verify the bidder's experience, key technical personnel, equipment, and performance in ongoing projects. Contractors with significant negative slippage or poor performance records may be disqualified to ensure that only capable contractors are awarded to DPWH projects. That will be all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Demi. In addition to the department orders which are required to be complied by the contractors. We would like to emphasize that the BAC will issue a supplemental bid with respect to the equipment requirement or that's accredited batching plan relative to project contract ID number 26J00002 and contract ID 26J00007. A supplemental bid shall also be issued with respect to 26J00066 with respect to the location. Am I correct? Do we have other revision or correction to be highlighted? Any other comment from our presenters?
None po.
Thank you. Do we have any request for clarification from our interested bidder?
Regarding po sa key personnel, yung regarding sa accrediting materials
Can we have the
sa asphalt,
what project?
0.
200.
Experience ng key personnel. Regarding po sa materials engineering po, yung sabi ng experience and relevant, hindi ko siya naka-indicate yung ilang years po yung experience basta
Accredited materials. Can we have comment from our chief of the PAH?
Yes, as long as accredited.
kasi sa PE po, naka-indicate yung years experience.
The second.
Kasi, yun lang. Thank you.
The number of years for general experience and relevant experience with respect to the accredited materials engineers was revised to accredited materials 2, with no longer mentioning the number of years required. Inconsistent with the department order on accreditation of materials engineering. Thank you so much for your other clarification. There being no other matter to discuss in behalf of the Deeds and Awards Committee, I would like to extend my gratitude to our hardworking presenters. Thank you so much for your support to the back, to the procurement unit and the secretariat as well. There being no other matter to discuss, the private conference is hereby adjourned. Thank you so much for your time.